and these investments should have been done way before our time. But I don't want to go back in history and start naming names or blaming people. We just have to make do with what we have and the blessings and opportunities we have today. That's why we're all pushing this out. In fact, our statistics here in Metro Manila, 70% of our people use public utility or public transportation, while 30% don't. But 30% occupy the 70% of the road space, while only 30% are used by public utility. The biggest challenge are probably the people in this room, the guys who own private vehicles. We definitely recognize that mass transportation and rail is the way to go for a metropolis, like as big as Metro Manila. Likewise, we're looking into bus rapid transit systems, an alternative to light rail or medium rail. I know Secretary Domingo is listening. He has his own opinions about BRT, but we're definitely pushing it because it's cheaper, implemented quicker, and probably could carry same amount as capacity as a LRT. However, the biggest challenge here is that the scarce resource of limited road space will then be an issue, because we will then create segregated bus lanes where most of our simple folks, our non-vehicle owners, will be using to make sure that they go through our road space as quick as possible, while us public or private car owners have to deal with a much more limited road space. It's just a more democratic way of using limited resource. So that's our way to go, and as you've said, the test of development for a country is not when the poor get to ride public utility transportation, but when the rich get to ride public transportation. So I'll keep that in mind, so when this happens, you're to blame, not me, no. But it's a philosophy that I believe in. It's really the more democratic way of handling transportation. But likewise, I would like to share with you that we are actually doing a study on subway. Secretary Singson is a believer in this. He said, June, we have to do that leapfrog from merely thinking about light rail, because eventually we'll run out of airspace. We'll create urban blight that will have all this light rail above ground. Given the population demand and the size of Metro and Mega Manila, we are ready for subways. Technology has advanced that the cost difference between the two could be justifiable, and hopefully before the end of this term we could have a plan laid out, get it started, and whoever would replace us will just continue with the plan.
Thank you, June. By the way, Manny Pacquiao and Chris Aquino did take public transportation last week, but I guess it's a different story. May I respectfully ask those who are asking questions to be as concise as possible so that we can accommodate as many as possible. Sir?
Thank you, Secretary Carandan. I'm Willie Orihola, taxpayer and a medium entrepreneur, medium business entrepreneur. My question is like this, because I was still fresh in my mind was the recent weak typhoon that hit southern Tagalog and Metro Manila, but with heavy rains. Because I could still remember my grandson asking me if there are classes or not. Now my question is addressed to Secretary Singson. What are these infrastructure projects to mitigate flooding in Metro Manila, particularly southern Tagalog and the other growth areas? And if there are such, the timeline, considering that the present administration has 3 more years to implement these projects. Good if my single vote will be decisive to extend the services of the present official family of the President. So what
Yeah.
do we expect as residents of this part of the country that this kind of disasters or climate effect of climate change, which we cannot fight against these forces?
Thank you for the question. We have now embedded in the NEDA investment program what we refer to as the flood control master plan for Metro Manila and the surrounding areas, and this includes a all the area around Laguna Lake, because this is part of a catchment basin. Now, as we continue to explain, there are three major sources of flooding in Metro Manila. First, there's too much, we've lost our watershed in the Sierra Madre, which means the Montalban, Antipolo, and the San Mateo area, such that if there's too much rain coming from the Sierra Madre Mountains, all of this will flow down through the very limited capacity of Upper Marikina, Lower Marikina, and Pasig River. So that's one major cause of flooding. Too much water coming from the Upper Marikina and the Sierra Madre Mountain. We're addressing that by providing a flood